Namaste. Today I want to share a video or a movie documentary that I watched on YouTube last night. It stirred certain energy in me that has this urge to share my observation. In Buddha's time, women initially were not allowed to enter Sangha, community gathering. Her foster mother went to see him, requested to join Sangha. Buddha said, "It is not possible." Auntie pleaded, saying that why not? That I have traveled so far, I have renounced everything. Why can't the women join Sangha or attain liberation like men do? Now, Buddha's idea was actually not prevent women from liberation, nor entering Sangha. He knew the time was not ripe yet. So he gathered the decision makers, the board, if we may say. So 7 or 8 people coming together, lengthy discussion. And the outcome of such discussion is that they would build statues that represent the female goddess. And they set 8 rules and allow women to join Sangha that apparently has this notion that the women, the nuns, are secondary to monks. And that rules has been or had been passed on for thousands of years, 2,500 to estimate, particularly in the Tibetan, in Nepal, in Bhutan. So the Central or the Western, Eastern Asia that still affect the nuns, women's life in many parts of Asia. Now, this is information that I read on internet and I watched from YouTube. How much is true? We don't know. The key part that associated with my learning is how we receive information and how this piece of information influence or changes our perception. And how does direct experience have anything to do with one's liberation? Now, apparently, in today's age, we who live in Western society is so fortunate. Fortunate, perhaps it's barely can describe my gratitude to this bodily journey, to everything that has been given to this body. Many of us never knew, had never been exposed to this idea that nuns are secondary to monks, and women were prevented from entering Sangha in the very first place. These days and age, we are much more fortunate. The world is opening and women are rising rapidly and taking many leadership positions, including the spiritual community. As human evolution continuously to evolve, and the ways people attain liberation, freedom, are also evolving rapidly. The information that we were taught in the tradition Buddhism manner, it's quite dogmatic, including many other religions as well. expand from that. When I say expand from that, you have to challenge the rules and regulations, if I may say. In a systematic setup, monastery or church or any sort of a religion setup, a child was put into the situation, the environment, and he has to learn. So-called responsibility. The Rinpoche story, many of them, they're continuously to reincarnate. Once found, the child was found is the reincarnation of the previous Rinpoche or previous Nama. He was immediately being put into the position. As far as I see, he was treated like a king, a special person. And of course, he knew that he had to carry this huge responsibility and expectation from the public to perform and to be the wiser one, to be the liberated one. Personally, I can only speak of my experience. I do see there's some limitation about the rigid setup. Can one be taught about liberation? We all had various kind of spiritual awakening experiences. Many of them happen in the community setup, that is, the space was held by others. Others experience this profound awakening by themselves through meditation. I wanted to emphasize on this, focus on your direct experience. Books, teachings, scripture study, information being passed on by others, information you watch on internet. How do we know that it is exactly the truth and is truly applicable to this body's direct experience? We must challenge the tradition. We must challenge a piece of information being passed on by others. One cannot simply follow blindly. That's not a liberation. Liberation comes from truly being able to live freely. Whether you're in a monastery setup or non-monastery setup, are you totally free? We respect all religious teaching, all Buddha's teaching, all Christianity's teaching. When I say respect them, as in I don't blindly follow, nor that I think they're 100% correct. And this direct experience that I am talking comes from you. Without any substance, without following any textbook, without following any advice, simply sit within. The meditation process that does require certain practice, some hours of sitting alone. You may initially still use the prescribed method or taught method to grounding yourself and using that tools you learned as a ladder gradually climb up. When you climb up, you will be able to explore independently. When I say explore independently, is that you can actually stay focused, observe the energy stir up in you. The energy stir up in you may be emotions, maybe desires, maybe thoughts, all of this. And stay watchful. Stay watchful. You may still learn, you may still spend time in spiritual community, Sangha, Darshan, sit with the masters, get a little bit of boost of energy, a bit of a dosage of spiritual support. And then you continue to sit higher, climb higher, in which you will be able to hold space for yourself to experience more and more direct experience of the self. Some call God, some call I, others call the void, others call consciousness. Go experience yourself. For that, liberation or freedom or the absolute cannot be simply described by words. Words have limitations. So when you can, in that body, keep on inquire and go higher and follow your own beliefs. And that belief comes from your direct experience. Not to disregard your indirect experience, but the indirect experience is not the end of who you are, the higher truth of who you are, if we may say, such as truth. Be open, be brave, and ready to challenge and dissolve any notions, any idea, any thought. Let them fall. Be free from any concepts and any conceptions. Namaste.